Welcome back to the channel. This is Alexander Howell, and today what I want to talk about is something that's not just a strategy for 2020, but it's something that I think we're going to be getting into going forward in a very, very significant way. Now, anytime that you're trying to market or sell a product or just advertise the fact that you're a company that's available, whether you're a B2B or a B2C company, business to business or business to consumer, one thing that you really need to concentrate on going forward with your advertising dollars is making sure that you're not just throwing a giant net out to try to catch everybody. That can work for some large scale companies that have been around for a very long time. But if you're trying to make sure that every single penny goes to the right place, that every single dollar is being utilized to try to bring you more business, this one strategy is something that we have more tools today than we have ever had in the past, and that is hyper-personalization. So if that's all you were looking for, congratulations, the video is over. If you want to go into it a little bit more, talk about some of the tools that you have and talk about a brand strategy going forward, stick around. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for updates as soon as we go live. Okay, so when we're talking about hyper-personalization, the easiest way to describe it is to use examples. So you think about Amazon, you think about Netflix, you think about YouTube. If you look over to the right, if you're on your desktop or if you look below, there are other videos that are being advertised to you. They're being broadcast to you in a way that says, if you've watched this, if you like this or this person, based on the data that we have collected from the billions of views, the billions of watch hours that people have been able to consume content on this, we know based on all of that information that you're probably going to watch X video next, or B video next, or Y video next. And why? Because you're watching this one. It's the same host. People who watch this video tend to like this type of genre. People who watch this individual like this type of individual. So therefore, we're going to start sending you to different individuals that have the same content or the same person who has other videos that are very similar. This is why if you're looking at, I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. And if I'm watching Game of Thrones histories and lore, I know, nerd. But if I'm watching that, it's going to probably recommend either the next season's histories and lore, it's going to recommend some fan theories behind it, some fans who have compiled different videos of different locations in the book series and in the film series, and all kinds of different individuals, different people, different companies are going to be shown to me that have created this content. This is the same with Netflix. If you've been watching a certain show, let's say House of Cards, you might like The West Wing. Why? Because they're both politics, they're both Washington, they both deal with presidents or the ascension to the presidency. That's just something that they know because you've watched X. You will probably want to watch something very similar to X. And this happens everywhere. This happens on Amazon. Amazon's a great example. They are a true business to consumer as well as other things. But when you're thinking about the app, it's business to consumer. They're trying to connect your business to or they're trying to connect you to a product, to a business that's selling it, or to themselves that are supplying it. Why? Because it's very easy for them to say, well, if you're buying children's toys, you might want to buy some batteries. If you're buying a video camera, you might want to buy a lens. If you're buying a DSLR camera, you might want to buy an entire kit. Oh, have you been looking at different things that have to do with vlogging? Well, then you might want this light. And this person who bought a Ron Chernow book called Hamilton may want to buy Washington, also by Ron Chernow. Those things seem obvious, but when you really get down and deep into it, all they're utilizing is data. And they have perfected the strategy so much that you will then look at that and say, now I do need to buy more because they've suggested this, and oh, that's right. That's exactly what I wanted to buy next. It's an absolutely ingenious way of doing business, and it's something that is available right now to us. So when we talk about us doing this, this is something that if you've ever placed an ad on Facebook, you probably know what I'm about to talk about. Facebook has a wonderful ability, or has the wonderful ability to narrow down to a person almost exactly who you want to advertise to. And they also have the data to say you've either you cast too wide a net, basically you're trying to target too many people and it's not going to work well, or you're casting too tight a net, meaning that you're only going to reach a certain number of people, and that just doesn't make sense for the way that their advertising algorithm works. So they know exactly when you've moderated just enough to have the right number of people looking at it, whether that's 1,000 people that you might reach with your $5 if I can talk a day advertising budget, or if you have a lifetime campaign of 1,000, they can show you exactly how many people they expect you to reach and how effective that's going to be. And for those of you who are familiar, I think if it's in the green, it's too many. If it's in the red, it's too few. And right in the middle, that yellow mark, and again, don't quote me on that, but right in the middle is exactly where you want to be. And it will say this is exactly what you're looking to target. So you can use this even more effectively, and it's pretty impressive because, for instance, my role as a realtor and real estate investor, as well as the vice president of business development for a digital marketing agency, means that I have very specific needs when I go for advertising. I'm not looking to cast a wide net so that somebody's just using Facebook to catch up with the kids or catch up with the grandkids, see somebody that's across the pond or whatever it might be. That's normally not who I'm trying to target. If I'm in real estate and I have a listing, or if I have an investment property that I'm trying to rent, I'm trying to find someone very specific in a market. Now, me personally, I can throw out postcards, I can do mailers, I can say, hey guys, do you know anybody that's looking for X? But most of the time, what I'm really looking for, especially when I go to sell a property, is somebody who's looking for one, somebody who's looking to move, somebody who's been talking about that. And I don't know how the wizards of Facebook do this, but if you advertise a home for sale on Facebook, there is a way to boost a post, and it's not complicated, but there's a way to boost a post so that you target people that are looking to buy homes. Yeah, they've got data nailed down so much that they can tell people who may be about ready to move, maybe about ready to sell their home, maybe looking to buy a home. Probably communication between all kinds of different platforms like Zillow, Facebook, and the like. But the fact of the matter is, they have collected this data and handed it to you on a silver platter to say, if you're looking to advertise to this type of person, we have the ability to do that, and we're going to show you exactly how. Now, YouTube videos just like mine and others can walk you through step by step how to do this, or you can hire an agency to do this as well. It's not complicated, but where this really comes into play is exactly how you do it. If you're looking for somebody, there's a suburb in Kansas City called Lee Summit. High school, good schools, good high schools, good elementary schools, good middle schools, good area. It's been developing for, between 20 and 30 years. It's really seen this strong and continuous growth, and it's on the Missouri side of Kansas City. If you're looking for somebody that's looking to move into Lee Summit, and I'll give you a good example. If you're looking for somebody who's looking to move into a subdivision that you are building in Lee Summit, you can now dive down into people who are looking to buy a home in Lee Summit, who are currently from Lee Summit, who are in the Kansas City area, and you can build those advertisements around those individuals. Now, that might not seem like a lot of people, but Lee Summit has a population under 100,000, but significant. You're not targeting just 0 people, but every single one of your advertising dollars can go directly to trying to nail down exactly who they are, find them, and try to get them into your subdivision, into your house, or at the very least, utilize you as a realtor, because maybe they don't want to live in Lee Summit. They want to actually live in Kansas City proper. Now you have their contact information. You can go after them. Just like anyone else, any type of business can utilize this. If you're selling children's toys, you can look into people who have children. If you want to do all kinds of different things, the metadata that they have collected is absolutely second to none. I mean, you think about how big Facebook is. What's it, 1.5 to 2 billion people, 2 billion active users at this point? They have data on all of them from all over the world. And if you're wanting to advertise, start there. So why is hyper-personalization this important? Well, because you're building engagement, you're building relevance to an audience that actually wants to be a part of what you're doing. They want to buy your product. They want to be a part of, or they want to have the service that you're offering them. That builds engagement because they already want it. You have the data, or at least Facebook does, and you're advertising to them because they fall within that category, and therefore your relevance is off the charts. If that's exactly what they're looking for and the ad is placed right in front of them, it's just like buying a book and wanting a second on Amazon, or it's just like getting done with one show and watching another on Amazon or on Netflix. All of these things can be, I hate to say it, but it's true, bought and purchased for people who are looking to grow their business. It's right there in front of you, and you can absolutely go get it. All of those things also can build trust. If you're there when they need you, you might have other products that are going to be there as they grow in their lives and they grow in their needs. for instance, and again, I hate using this because this is just the thing that I know the most, but in real estate, if I have an ad and I bring a buyer in, and that buyer is a young family and they're looking for a certain type of house in a certain type of neighborhood, it's easy for me to kind of, with my knowledge, go through, find out exactly what they're looking for. We can go see a couple of houses. They figure out what neighborhood, what style home they want to be in. And if I find out that they want to be in a 1.5 story so that they're on the main level, but the kids are upstairs in Fox Haven and Raymore, okay. Raymore is a town that I grew up in. It's actually where this is being recorded, which is awesome. But if I know that they want to be in that neighborhood with that type of house, I now know exactly what I'm looking for them. And to me, that does it's very good because now I can do my job better. So as I'm able to do that from the ad that I placed that they responded to, that's going to create a level of trust. And then it's not just going to stop there. Because if you're able to then follow up and do all of those things that marketers and salespeople have been told for eons to do, excuse me, sorry. If you're able to do those things, though, you're going to be able to build that relationship, build that trust, and then once you have that, then the world's your oyster. It's everything you could possibly want to do, because now what you're able to do is take that great relationship and build upon it. Build the referral network, build the referral system. Again, everything that you've been told to do in books forever is now able to happen, but it's because you made an ad that was so hyper personalized that you found the right person and built trust, and you targeted them exactly the way you were supposed to. All right, guys, the last thing I want to talk about is probably something that should be discussed first. At least that's kind of the plan of action. But if you stuck around in this video, you get the bonus of the conversation about how you start this. Now, branding and marketing, that's what we talk about. That's what we deal with. But at the same time, we want to make sure that that branding and that marketing fits the market. And how do we do that? Well, it's all based on analysis, right? The same analysis that companies like Facebook and Amazon and Netflix and every single other company that advertises in that large scale, that huge scale, that very honestly, unless you're a company like that, you don't need to dive into. You just need to utilize their data. But if you're wanting to do this, you have to do something very, very difficult that's a little time consuming. I know, not the information you want to hear. Easy is always easier. But if you're willing to do this, if you're willing to stick around, it's going to make sure that your targeted information, your targeted advertising, your hyper-personalization goes off without a hitch and actually does for your business what you want it to do. And that is the research. It's getting all of your information gathered. It's getting your brand gathered. It's having people sit down and go over what ideas they have, who it is, having test groups to figure out which thing they like best and why. But getting all of that information together and doing a really good, thorough audit of all of your advertising, of all of your marketing, of where all your dollars are going, and then bringing it back in and building a strategy upon that. Because if you realize, and for instance, with Facebook, if you've ever advertised, you can see if men are looking at it, if women are looking at it, where they are, what age they are. All of that information is available to you if you've ever run an ad campaign. And if you're willing to take a little bit of time and do the work, you can put a little bit of money into that audit, into that, we'll call it initial revitalization of your marketing, and really pinpoint who your clients are, who they might be. If you're somebody that's in a service industry, give your clients a call. Ask them what initially drew them to you. Ask them all kinds of questions. And keep in mind, they're your clients. You should be reaching out to them anyway, and asking your clients for what it is that makes your company great does two things. One, it gives you the information so that you can utilize that in your marketing strategy. And two, they kind of get reinforced with the idea that that's what makes them great, or that's what makes you great, right? So utilize that. Really try to push to make sure that all of this is worked through and found out before you do that hyper personalization, because this sword is double-edged. If you do this right, you will see more hits from your marketing, more clients from your marketing dollars than you've ever seen before. But if you get it wrong, you're hyper personalized in the wrong place, meaning your dollars are not working at all. And if you start seeing that, Don't abandon ship immediately because your market might be a little bit different or it might be a little bit difficult to kind of figure out. But if you're throwing money to the wind, none of this whole video was wasted on you. And a lot of times you just need to bring in somebody else that might have an idea about what is good because they've done it before and they know. So if you can do it on your own, fantastic. If you want to bring in a third party, fantastic. But the number one thing is that you put in the work, you put in the effort, and you do it right, because that is going to send 2020 into the stratosphere, and it's going to send the rest of this decade and beyond into the stratosphere. Remember, you're playing the long game when you're in sales and marketing. This isn't going to happen overnight, but if you do it right, the rest of your life could be real nice. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, especially if you've made it to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little notification bell if you want to see when all these videos go live. It's just a little button that says subscribe down there and a little thing that's shaped like a bell. So if you don't mind going pop, pop and doing it, I'd really appreciate that. It helps with the algorithm and helps everybody find these videos a little bit easier. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all those different things. At Alexander from KC. Go to my website, alexanderhowell.com, for all of the information that's available there. The YouTube channel is just follow me, Alexander Howell. And outside of that, you know my email. It's alexander@alexanderhowell.com, or send me a text message, 816-529-2195. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.